just had to have a little argument with Stella. She wants me to get him up. Let's go out. Let's go play. Let's go do stuff. It's like 4 o'clock in the morning, dude. I've got to do my work. I got to do this first. This is my first thing that I do every morning. And so, anyways, this is what comes first. So, let's, for one thing, I had just seen something that just really blew my mind that I have to talk about. But, oh, I have to talk about this dream. Oh my God, it was so fucking horrible. And so I had woke up a couple of hours ago. I think it was around 1 o'clock or something, 1:30, and it was freezing. So I checked my fire and there was still some embers going. So I got some more wood and put it on there and got the fire going again to get it warmed up. It is so fucking frigid out. And then they'll say it's like 40. There's no motherfucking way that this is 40 degrees. Okay, this is whacked, man. And it's so cold. It feels like it's going right through you. And I just feel so bad for the homeless people. Like, God damn, the assault on them is... If I was a homeless person, I'd hope if the van pulled by to pick me up, I'd say, hell yeah, let's go. Get me the hell out of this place. And I would take my ticket out. Get the hell out of this game. It's fucking treacherous, man. It's treacherous. And so... anyways, I laid back down, and then, you know, a lot of times when I'm awake, then it's like I make contact with my, I don't know what you would call them. I'm not going to just jump on a trend because, I don't know, there's a lot of people that call people their twin flames that I think that some people use it as excuse or something. To me, it is like my match. So it's like my match, and there's a spiritual connection between us already. And so even when there's not a physical, there's been a spiritual connection for years now. And so they'll come in my dreams, I'll come in theirs, I'll talk. Well, I don't know if I come in theirs. I just said that was like, well, I need confirmation. They'll have to tell me if I've come in theirs. They definitely come in mine. And they definitely come in, talk to me. I guess it's their higher self or whatever, but they'll come in, talk to me. And sometimes it would be like I would be going through something hard, like when I've had so many problems, like I said, with my eyes since they gave me the brain injury. And one of the days there kept being this flashing, and so I had been going for 2 days, and I had talked to my friend in Australia, and she said, because I kept saying, well, I think it's like the spiritual world is just, I don't know, it's weird. And she goes, well, what if it's something that's medical? She said, you should go get it checked. So I guess, I don't know, I told my mom, and I looked it up, and it said it was your retina detaching. So it's an emergency. So I went to the emergency room, and they, this was years ago, they looked, and they didn't know shit. So they sent me over to the emergency doctor place, and they said it was like pulling, but there was a part that was connected, so it hadn't detached. And they said it'll probably just heal back, but it was trying to detach, but something was holding it too tight, so it was having these weird flashes. And but if it happens and it detaches, you can go blind. So anyways, I was upset while I was driving to that, and I was thinking, what the fuck? If I go blind, what the fuck am I gonna do? And I think I was even crying. And all of a sudden, it was like their higher self. I was gonna even cry because it was the sweetest fucking thing. Because all of a sudden, their higher self was sitting there, and they said that they would read to me. I was like, I was really crying then. I was like, oh my God, that is the sweetest thing I think I've ever heard. And it just gave me peace. It was like a lot of times when something would be going on, and it's like their higher self, which is somehow connected to my higher self, I guess. And I don't know if we share a higher self. I have no idea how this all works. I mean, some of this stuff is new to me. It's new stuff that I'm just learning about. And because I'd never even heard of a twin flame until this trigger happened. And then I was so confused. I just kept getting all this information that was sent to me, and I kept talking about it. And I was like, what in the trendy bullshit is this? And so then I went and started looking it up and stuff. And so that's when I started seeing, oh, this is like a really old thing. So anyways, but spiritual community jumps on all this new, because that's what it's all about, new and trendy. And I guess Teal Swan is going down too. I don't know. I just saw a video yesterday and somebody was saying, now that she's been exposed, I knew that was coming. And I don't know her or her teachings really. I know that she has a lot of people who follow her, but and when I had gone in and listened to her, it just didn't jive with her. I was like, no. So I never listened to her. So, but I knew people were liking her. But then when that Hulu special came out, so I was kind of like, so what is this? And then I saw like a trailer or something. I was like, no, that's not my jam. I don't know what her deal is. So anyways, I wasn't surprised when they were saying, that she's going to be a part of the exposing of this fake spirituality, because there's a lot of people being exposed about that, and I don't even know how much, if she is one, but there's a lot of names are coming out of, I don't know if they are purposely misled. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. So, anyways, but when I'm laying there and it's middle of the night, a lot of times I go in and just start talking to them. And I always use telepathy, but until I get, confirmation from them, I won't know. It will just be a lingering, I don't know if this is true. It's out there in the, I don't know. And so, anyways, I'm sitting there talking to them or whatever, connecting with them. And all of a sudden I was asleep again. That happens all the time. And then I was asleep again. And I didn't know I was asleep. But I was outside and I was walking. And I saw this big group of people walking up towards my gate. Which there keeps being some really creepy shit going on. Even my neighbor yesterday. I've had this neighbor say something, and now I've had this neighbor say something. And I don't know if every one of these people who keep going by our houses slow and coming and doing all this stuff. I don't know. It's weird. But this one, he kept driving around and around and around. And he could be another aggressive flipper, and he's trying to get all the way he can see it that he can or something. I don't know. He could be just an instigator who's here looking for trouble. He could be a thief he's a really nice truck. It's like a new red pickup with 4 doors. Like a short bed. And so it's really nice looking. But anyways, so I'm walking down there, and then I see that this is a bunch of cops, and it was like certain faces on people like I recognize, and I don't know if it's like things I've seen in the news or something, and so these faces were on these people, but they start busting through my gate, telling me they're here to evict me. And so I go running into the house, and my house is different though, and I shut the door and I locked it. And for some reason Stella's name was Gigi, and I could pick her up. She was real huge, but I could pick her up. I can't pick her up at all. So and there was a couple times I had to pick her up. We were out walking. That must have been it before they got here, because we were out walking and her paw was hurting, so I had to pick her up, and I was with somebody. Maybe that's how it started. I was making content and I was with somebody, and we were walking, and then we had the dogs and stuff, and I was having to pick her up and carry her because her feet hurt. And so then, and that was a whole weird thing. God, I forgot about that part. That was weird. And then all of a sudden I'm in my driveway, and all these cops and stuff were there busting through. So I run in the house and I lock the door, and I don't remember, I started panicking, and I ran back and I told my visitor, I knocked and I said, we're being evicted, you got to get up. And so I came back out here and Gigi was barking, I guess, I don't know. But they had busted in. So they busted in my front door. And then all of a sudden this living room was way bigger, way bigger. The kitchen was way bigger, everything was way bigger. And there was all these cops just tearing everything up, searching my house, throwing things. They kept looking for something. They were looking for something to bust me. And then I saw like 2 baggies of pot laying there. And I was like, well, where'd those come from? It's not mine. But it made me think about something else that's here that somebody gives me all the time. And then I was like, oh, shit, that could be a problem. And so I had that on my mind. And, but the other stuff, I was like, that's not illegal anyways. Like, what are they doing? And, so they're tearing my shit up all over and they're talking to me, talking down to me. So that just, all of a sudden, I just hit it into high gear. And I started telling this one that was next to me, I started saying, you're going against my human rights. I'm not an American citizen. I'm a citizen of the Republic. You're going against my human rights. As a matter of fact, all of you are. And I want a card from every single one of you right now. And somebody started digging for their card. And this is where you need to know those ordinances and stuff, the codes, because that's how you talk to these people in code. You got to use code numbers. I guess they're programmed into them. So I got to look up these code numbers. But illegal siege and then also I was like, got called the National Guard or something. Like there's a group that would be there to protect us. I was like, fuck, and they're doing this kind of stuff. I saw a woman on video and this is being done to her and she's saying that they've got the wrong person. She's even told them, she showed her ID and stuff and they will not stop harassing her and saying, and they're sending CPS to take her kid and stuff. I think she might have 2 kids, so she's being totally harassed. And there's a lot of people that's happening to, it's not just her because I keep seeing different videos. But, so anyways, I started telling them that they were going against my human rights and that I was going to make charges and I wanted their cards. And then I was having these conversations and there was one that kept trying to be a real smart ass, another one over here too. And they were just being total assholes. And, but they weren't doing it. They had all stopped. And then I woke up and it was like, oh my God, that was fucking horrible. It was so fucking real. It was horrible. I was like, oh my God, I cannot go back to sleep. Even though I felt like, and I still feel like, like when I get woke up during a dream and I feel super out of it, like, oh, I feel weird when I get woke up in a dream and I still feel like that. I was like, fuck, I can't go back. And it was 3:30 anyways. And I usually get up by then. And so I was like, oh my gosh, hopefully it's not a precursor or something to come. But it's like, I don't know. Like, none of us know, what all we have to go through to get the fuck out of this shit. So, hold on. I gotta tip this down and sit back more. I feel like I'm sitting on the edge of my seat. So I have seen so many videos of people talking about this sickness because so many people are sick. They all have the same kind of symptoms as me, except some people have a temperature. If you have a temperature, your body's really trying to fight something. You gotta rest. And all the people keep running doing the tests so that they can see if they've got the sickness, and then it all comes back negative, but they're still sick. What's going on? And so it was an introduction of a new illness, and but it's all of the illnesses are masks to the long-term poisoning. They got to come up with a cover story. I mean, that's why cigarettes had to be bad. So all of these things are, cover story too. Because even if cigarettes are bad, because I'd heard if you just had tobacco, it'd be fine. But they added in a whole bunch of carcinogens to get us sick because people enjoyed smoking so much. And then, so the carcinogens make you sick. But the thing is nothing can kill you before your time. You can't get sick with something unless you're meant to get sick with it. And it's to teach you, because all these people keep running to Western medicine for their cure to find out what's wrong with them. And you got to let your body, you got to let your body process. You got to let your body heal itself. You don't run to them. All they're doing is creating interference, using chemicals, and they know that. Your body has the ability, even though that they are hitting us nonstop, 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 and keeping you. I mean, Jesus Christ, these people are saying, yeah, we've been sick a couple weeks. I've had this for fucking, I feel like a month and a half or something. So, but you gotta, it's a nonstop assault though. We have a nonstop assault on us. And then the more toxins and bullshit you have in your body, the more unhealthy your body is, the more you're going to be affected by certain things. It all depends on what chemicals and shit they're dumping on you. And, you know, in your general area. Because that makes a difference over it. And, you know, I had an epiphany the other day. And, you know, because I know we're experimenting stuff. And I know there's multiple experiments. I'm not saying that this was the very first experiment. Because they started, I mean, we're here. Well, some of us are here due to orphan trains and shit. So, an introduction of the white folk. And just the white folk. That's all we are, just white folk. And, so the introduction of them into society was a part of the experiment. Them burning down all the cities and creating a habitat, part of the experiment. I mean, it's just one experiment after another. And so they also, you know, every 20 years, it might even be closer, it might be every 15 years, they were doing wars. When they had over by the Middle East, they could just do wars all the time and keep trying to kill all the people in different parts of Europe and stuff. And but then once they started going bigger, and once it started being like America, like I'm sure if you went back, like the Irish War, the Scottish, like there's always been this going on, these people with their takeover. But then they got America as their, you know, their cover, the land of the free. The land of the free. This is the land of the free. The rest of you are in trouble. We should have listened. So anyways, in the land of the free, once they had that cover, then they, I don't know how many, I mean, they had Civil War, they had Revolutionary War, all this stuff supposedly that was going on anyways here. But then once they started with World War I, World War II, Korean War, Vietnam War, Afghanistan, it was just like they kept, you know, wanting to make sure they got every generation, that they cleaned out all of the good men, all the men that cared about their country, all the men that had loyalty, had integrity and stuff. And it was like they're weeding them out. Let's take the good ones and let's. Wasn't that even on their commercials? We want the good ones. It was back in the 70s. It was a Uncle Sam commercial. And it was, you know, they were really pushing patriotism too back then. Because they got to make the, oh my God, my throat is being totally attacked. Hold on. It's like claw. Hold on. Oh, I hate that. I feel like the dream even was an attack. So you know, back in the 70s or whatever, we had this Uncle Sam cartoon who wanted the good ones, you know, sign up. And then, so of course that gives the subliminal message that the other people who are fighting against them are the bad ones. But it's curious is how many of those hippies ended up being people who worked in corporations and stuff. Like, I don't know, you know, I don't know all the stuff that went on then and how they, I don't know, because it was like that one movie I was talking about last week where it had Robert Redford, Sam Elliott, Julie Christie, had a whole bunch of people in it. And it was, I think it was like from 2013, and it was about these rebels back from Vietnam, that the ones who would go out and blow things up and stuff to try and get the government to stop. So basically the same thing as what these people are trying to do now. These people were trying to do then. Only it was a little more extreme. But because there was, you know, supposedly bombs and shit. But anyways, you know, and then they get labeled, you know, what they get labeled as. And so then in this one, he's going around trying to find this Julie Christie, because that was his girlfriend at the time, and she was at the night that this bomb went off and somebody was killed and stuff. She was there, and she knew that this other guy that they were hunting wasn't there, so he's trying to find her so she can, you know, tell the police he's innocent, and so he can go live his life with his daughter. And so he's got to go on this hunt trying to find her. And he does go to a college and talk to a professor who was one of them. And but he got a job in the university. So that's what I'm saying. I think that it depended on different roles. Some of them, well, you go underground, we never hear from you, see you again, you go, you know, live out there off grid. We don't give a fuck about you. Other ones, they wanted to use them, place them. Like, it's always been a siphoning. It's always been a, you know, shaking loose and holding on to some. So they've got a thing about that. But they had all these generations where they were wiping out the men to destroy the family, and then they even went all in on the women's lib. You know, it was another peg to their ultimate goal of the destruction of the family. You know, get rid of all of the men, get rid of the good ones, and then push the women to take the role of the male and pull her into her masculine, get her out in the world, make her feel insecure, like she's got to get up there and make the same amount as men. She's not worthy unless she's, you know, CEO. And then on the commercials, you know, they have the CEO of the woman CEO. She's the commercial for the Depends. It's like so absurd. Then you get these women who have made it and they're still out there in their underwear dancing around the stage. Yesterday, I saw this, it really bothered me. I mean, it really bothers me to see these women as they age just keep selling themselves out like you have no value. And this is, it was a short, and so it's on here, and it's this woman, super glamorous looking. I mean, she's got this glamour hair, full silver hair. It's like a bob that's one of those sexy flowy bobs, you know, and she's very slim. And then she is putting on a black dress. So she's going to get dressed. Like, we're going to watch her get dressed. Once she gets it on and does a lot of her little dancing and how sexy she is and a lot of posing, then she pulls the dress all the way up so that she can put her Spanx on. So, you know, we gotta see that. I mean, what old lady's not going to do that? Like, this place in the programming and shit is off the chain. So then, the war thing. So I know we had all these experiments and stuff that were going, and then there's the whole group that it was called the boomers, because after, and I'm sure this is a part of their experiment, that after the world, or after the second one, then they, all these guys came back, and everybody coupled up real quick, and they knocked out a whole bunch of kids. So there's this huge boom in the population. And that's why it was called the boomer population, because it was this big boom after the war. And so then they, but what better way to make that never happen again? Just make everybody cut off their dick. Tell them they're a lady. So, you can be a girl if you want to be a girl. It's like, it's wild. And there's people who have literally gone to this stuff saying, this one that I was talking about the other day, they were saying, at 7 years old, they were saying her parents and her were told she was going to be a real woman. She was going to be a real girl or a real boy or whatever. You know, you'll be a real one of these things. I said, you'll be a real transsexual. You'll be somebody who they are potato heading. They're taking parts off and putting parts on and stuff. It's like, you're only a natural man or a natural woman if you're born into it. That's the only way. So anyways, so we had the baby boom that I'm sure has to do with something in their experiment, because then it led to some other shit. Because I think, because of how we were being raised at a certain point, like it was very Ozzy and Harriet. And most people can't live up to this perfection standard, although my mom, was desperate to do so and using the church in order to be the most wholesome, best, person in the whole wide world. And, and then she had this trash daughter. So, but it's weird, is because it was, I don't know. I just don't think how she ever realized how she came across to her daughter. You ignore them and you don't talk to them, and every interaction is you looking down on them or hitting them or something, then it's like, yeah, we don't have a great relationship. So anyways, but she looks back on her, she sees things way different, so we all have our own perspectives. It's crazy. Hold on. It's like a fucking being totally choked out. Man, I swear to God, the target energy is on over fucking kill right now. Fuck, man. So, yeah, lingering. Get the fuck out of here. Then, so we had this really wholesome, we were expected to be perfect. You can't have a sexual thought. You can't do this. You can't do that. And then we have this whole arena of perversion that is around us. And then, because my dad was, and then I've heard from so many people had it in their families. It wasn't just mine, even though when you're in that family, you feel like, everybody knows, and you're the laughing stock of the neighborhood and stuff. But everybody was hiding these secrets because there was this perversion that was already going on. It was just hidden. And so, and then there was all this pressure put on us to be so perfect and wholesome, and it was a lot of pressure and a lot of judgment always on us. And then, but all us kids, we were always out playing and having fun and being adventurous. It was true freedom. Just going out and get up in the morning, and what are we going to do? Well, maybe we're going to build a fort today. Maybe we're going to ride our bikes as fast and far as we can. It's just, maybe we'll collect bottles and we'll go to Dairy Queen. Every day was just like, let's do whatever we feel like doing. And so when I look back on that time, it's like, oh my God, what a gift to get that experience. And it's a sad shame that so many people didn't get that experience, even right away the next group of kids being born right after us. Because those kids were just, I don't know, they were just being born, or they were, 5 when I was 13 or something. I don't know. But there was a big switch all of a sudden, because, I was born in 1961, and for the whole time, the boomers, that stopped in I think 1954 was the end of the baby boom, where they considered it was I don't even remember what the years were, but it was 1945 to 1954 or something like that. And so then we were nothing. There was no label to any of us. We were just, people. And and so that was in 61. And so then they started this Gen X thing. And that was somewhere in the 70s, which I think it was around 74, 75, maybe 76. Everybody who was born then, they were called Gen X. And when it happened, I, at the time, was like, well, what the hell are we? Because then we had the boomers over here, which I thought that was a cool thing. Because boomers, I was just like, hell yeah, boomers. I thought it was really cool. And I was like, God, I want to be a boomer. now they moved me into the section. But then they started this Gen X thing. And then everything went down, 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 down. and everything changed. So much changed. And then after that, I don't know, I'm not sure the order it all goes. If next was the millennials, and then after that was Gen Z, and now there's, I don't know, there's several. They do it like every 10 years or something. They make a new category, and they've been doing that since Gen X. And all these generations are all about it, man. They're all about, well, I'm a Gen A. Well, I'm a millennial. Well, I'm a this. Well, I'm a that. It's like everybody's real into it. And then all of us people who didn't have anything, they just moved us up into boomer. Well, they kind of split it, because I think it's in 1964 is, then they say everybody after 1964 is now Gen X. And everybody who is under 1964, they're called a boomer. So they just took our section and just split it in half and put us on each end of it. But we were nothing. And I still think we are separate. We are, we're the in-between. So then they started the Gen X, and that's an introduction of something, which when you see what happened, they introduced like crack, they introduced, AIDS, HIV, just free. There was a period of time when there was free sex and everybody was doing a lot of drugs and stuff. And that was kind of breaking free from this very constrained way of being. That was kind of a break free, like, we're okay if we want to have sex. There's nothing wrong with sex. And then the diseases started being introduced to be like, yeah, there is something wrong. You just sleep around, you're going to get diseases. And you're getting all these people's nastiness inside of you. And so then that became a thing. And then, a lot of people became really scared. That was during my dating time when you had to think about that. And I had a couple of scares, and it was very scary. And so, that had a huge effect on a lot of us. And then they had, but they had the both people working, because that was new. When I grew up, my mom and dad were always home. They didn't get divorced until I was 16, and then my mom started working. But my mom was always home. She had some job, I guess, at my dad's office that she could go in and do for a couple hours or something. I don't think she ever went. She always hated working. She never could understand why I liked working. It's like, well, my dad was a workaholic, made me start working when I was 10. So, yeah, I like working. I feel like I'm productive. I feel like I'm getting something done. So, yeah, it was programmed into me. And then she, what do you think? So she started working and stuff, but a lot of moms started working. A lot of people started getting divorced. And it was like a big thing, because it was going from people, you didn't have divorce, you didn't have premarital sex, there was a lot of didn'ts, and then it all of a sudden switched, and there was a lot of, well, I'm going to do it. And parents and stuff changed. They started being a lot more doing their own thing. Disco came, and a lot of people were going out and going dancing and doing lines and drinking, putting a lot of money into the outfits. It was very trendy what you wore. And so it was like a big a big trend that led into, I don't know, self-centeredness or something. I'm not sure. I'm sure if we had access to all the data of this experiment, I wonder where it would be. I guess maybe it's in some of this stuff with the CIA files that have been disclosed, because some of the stuff that they've been studying on us is all in there. But definitely these categories have to do with different things that is being tested at different times. If you think about this place being a lab, and then so you have this one that you've done, the Gen X or whatever, and you've introduced all of these things, and then you see what happens to them now. And then what happens to their kids. And then we have their generation. We have these other labels that keep coming in. And there'd be an introduction, like the introduction of technology, the introduction of, because they already had this stuff. There's all sorts of evidence. I mean, they had cell phones back in some of these cave carvings and shit. like some of the stuff that they try and act like is so new to us is recycling old technology. And but they have a hidden and a control over the technology. They hold it over us, just like that. It can introduce something that is really old and then tell us it's new, and we all are, oh yay, yay, we get something new, when really it is there to take over your mind. Right now they got old fucking Zuck, I think it's Zuck, it could have been Elon, seemed like it was Zuck, and these new glasses. You put these on, and then, your life becomes smaller and smaller. It's a screen. You got a screen right here that's just taking over your mind. You don't need to go out and live real life. Oh, that was the thing, too, that I forgot to say yesterday, was in these old videos and stuff where it shows people from the 70s, and not just in how they dressed and the more natural, and everybody's healthy. Nobody is overweight. And then on top of that, though, because I had seen a video where it was like, God, I wish I could have gone and dated before technology, because it has scene, which, I've seen tons of these scenes. I've been at tons of these scenes. You would see them, the drive-in, the lake. Like, we all went and go and hang out together, like huge, huge groups of people. They would all go hang out, go to the lake, go to the drive-in was a big one in Dallas. That every Friday night, the drive-in was taken over by all of the teenagers, and we would all just be out walking around in the theater, going around talking to people's cars and stuff. This was always a party. And so we were always having fun and everything. And you would meet people and talk to them. You weren't just, going online trying to find somebody who you think looks good. And it seems like in their bio, they have the same interest. It's like, well, it's fake fucking life. So anyways, and then, but the person who was showing it said, just, this is before everybody started having a screen. So everybody, nowadays, you go into a restaurant and everybody's just glued to their phone, like they're going to miss out on something. And you go into groups and parties. Like, I've been out before. I talked about this story because it blew my mind, because it was really intense what was happening to me at that time, because somebody who had sexually assaulted me, my one husband, who was the drinker at the end, he liked to have parties. We had a pool, and I'm not a good drinker, especially once I had my brain injury. And so I think I took some really strong drinks, drank them really quick, really strong drinks. And then I got sick and had to go lay down, and was laying in my bed, and somebody came in there and sexually assaulted me. Which even gets stranger is after that fella did, then he left, and his mom came in and did. It's like, what in the holy hell? Oh my God, that's what I'm saying. There's weird shit, man, out there. So out at this club, because there for a period of time, like I said, I was just out living my life. I was out having fun. I was out going dancing. I was doing good after my dark night had finished. It was like there was a window of time before my trigger that I was just out there having a good old time, just living my life, being spiritual, just doing my thing. And so we were at this really crowded, in Spokane, it's a college town, so a lot of these bars get super, super crowded. Like, it's a big party scene downtown. And so I was in this one with I think I was with my one daughter, who was living with me at the time, because she had split up. So she was living with me, and she was surrounded by all these guys. She's really, really pretty. She was surrounded by these guys talking to her. And then so I'm sitting there waiting, and I'm trying to keep away from this guy who's trying to stalk me in the club, who's trying to get over there to talk to me or something. This guy he was a UPS driver, and I ran into him on the road one time. He pulls up, like, waving, like, dude, what the fuck? Like, there became a big thing, like, where my, that ex, because he was a fighter, and yeah, it became a thing. It's like, what in the hell, like, is wrong with people, man? So then, so I'm trying to get away from this guy, and I'm going out. My daughter's surrounded, so I'm just sitting there waiting, like, let's go, let's go, let's go. And I'm kind of like feeling sick, like it's just bringing back all these memories. Trigger, triggers are supposed to happen. And so I'm triggered, and I'm sitting there, and I'm replaying things, and I'm just feeling so sick. And this girl is sitting next to me, and she seemed lonely. And so I start trying to talk to her, and she would not talk. She would just go look at her phone and type. And I was like, this is so weird. Like, if especially an older person sat down next to me and started trying to talk when I was younger, I would have been like, oh my God, they have respect for me. They're talking to me, And it's such a different attitude now. It's wild, it's mind-blowing. And so I could hear, it's like I could sense, I knew that she was talking, texting somebody, telling them about this weird woman who keeps trying to talk to her. And I said a few things, trying to talk and be friendly. And she just kept giving me this weird look and looking down at her phone. And I was like, oh my God, what is wrong with people now? Like, this is weird. But then that guy who was showing this footage of the dating in the 70s, when people, before they had a screen to stare at, everybody's looking up, looking at each other, talking, everybody's having a good time. It's like, yeah, we used to live very different. Very different. And people think like this is better. It's like, well, I've been in both, and I'm telling you, this isn't better. This is way worse. So that's why I'm an in-betweener. It's funny too, because I'm an in-betweener in this world and the other world. That's why I can talk about that, because so many people talk about stuff and they have no idea. I see people guessing, they're spiritual gurus and they're guessing on shit and stuff. It's like, connect to the other side. Like, it's right there. Like, they're right there. Talking all the time. Connect. So, anyways, so they're with this generational thing. They're introducing and studying each thing that is brought in, or that they take away, or they change, or a certain chemical and stuff. So each category, that there is data based on social changes, how many people got sick, how many people got depressed, how many people started drinking, what happened with drugs. Like, there's all these graphs and shit where they test and they're looking at things. And they're always taking those graphs into making things worse. That's what their gain, their end goal is, to make things worse on us. And it's wild too. All this stuff about the Black Friday. Like, there's so many people out there doing so many videos where people have realized now that they mark the stuff up and mark it up just to, like, they don't really reduce it. They always keep what they put into it. Like, if they buy every coat for $3 and then they sell it to you for $200, then they're always going to make sure they're going to get their money back. They're never going to go down. And I learned about that, and my daughter was a teenager, because she worked at Sears. My youngest daughter worked at Sears, and she told me, she's told me what they were doing. So I knew what they were doing, because she was the person who would go and put clothes out and stuff. And, so she knew what they were doing. And she would tell us, and she told us it was such a ripoff. So I had awareness of that for a long ass time. But I'm not, I'm not like a big shopper like that, especially like now. Like, I had my favorite store. Like, when I was a shopaholic, I'd always go to the Buckle, and I would spend a fortune in there. But I wasn't, well, I don't know. I went to JCPenney's all the time, and I would buy so many. My kids, I'd leave with giant bags of clothes for my kids for school, because they would have such good sales. So I'd buy them tons of clothes, but then they go in and take my clothes and wear my clothes, and then they let their friends wear my clothes. So my expensive clothes were always disappearing. But anyways, so, what was I going to say? Am I done with this part of the story? Oh yeah, because the thing with Black Friday. So all these people are realizing now about the marking it up and stuff, and then all the information coming out about how the stores depend on this quarter. This is the quarter that they use to make their books good for the whole year, and so this boycotting of their stuff that they're selling us, it makes a huge impact. I've said this the whole fucking time on this awakening. All we have to do is just pull in our energy, take it from them. We don't have to go out and, bust through windows and attack and assault people. All we have to do is pull free, pull away from their energy. What they have to offer, quit buying it. Quit paying the bills. I mean, some of the bills you gotta pay because they'll turn off your power and stuff. But like credit cards and stuff, people are still into it. There's a video going around about this woman who they had denied her for a credit card, but she got it by writing a letter. And so everybody's like, well, everybody wants their credit card, everybody wants their credit, everybody wants this money. It's like, that's why this money has got to go out in such a big explosive way. It's going to be it's going to be explosive. Oh yeah, and this is something too, is I was seeing is okay, because I just saw this guy doing this video, and he was talking about somebody else. I can't remember the name now. You hear so many different names of people who people watch. I think it's something on YouTube, and it's something about the sky or whatever, and he has some video about looks like an eye or something opens in the sky. I'm not sure, because the guy was talking about it, but then he was showing a Fortnite video game and how it looked the same, kind of like they're always telling us the truth. And it's showing this shooting going up in the eye. But anyways, I did keep watching it because I already had the thing in my head where I was like, that is it. Like, we are in this giant body. Like, you got to think micro, macro, because we have giants all around us. Everything is a version of itself. Everything is a gradation of itself. Everything is the watering down of itself. And so, fuck. Ugh. I'm getting tired of being sick. And so everything is this gradation, micro, macro. And so, we have giants. Giants make our land, make the mountains, make all this stuff, is these giant people. And I think that is way, way back, like more of the beginning of when Earth started. And because it was, if you watch the Flat Earth documentaries and stuff, back when it was carbon based, or now where it's carbon based, it was crystalline based or something like that. It was like crystal, like it was a different atmosphere, and everything was way bigger. And then so they had like giant, man, this stuff is it fucking overwhelms my head sometimes, because I can see it, and it's like comes in hard. But trying to explain it, it's like, fuck, man. Okay, so because it's like a dream. Everything is like a dream. Everything is like, nothing is real. So it's like everything is like a storybook. It's like a dream. It's like a set. Nothing is real, like how people think. Like, everybody's trying to put together all of this history and our hidden history and stuff like that. But it's like you can't link things that aren't real. They're individual. It's not linear. And so, when it was this other base, this crystalline base or whatever, and then everything was really huge, and it was so beautiful, and all these different beings started coming, and immigrants from other planets and stuff started coming and settling here. So we started having different tribes. We had different beings that would come, and then they would would go and they would try and do work on the planet and take its resources. And some, would try and take its resources and take them back home. There was a lot of resources that were on this planet that other planets needed. So they would come here, and gold was one of them. And the Anunnaki came here, and they were doing gold mining. There was a lot of mining in the Flat Earth documentaries and stuff. You see that valleys and stuff that was like mining. It was this was attacks on the planet. They just went in and dug through her, and would take her resources and just use her and abuse her. There's a reason why this is a big ascension for the planet. She has been used and abused for a long time, and so we had all these beings that came to take the resources. And the Anunnaki, whatever their deal was, the atmosphere wasn't good for them, and they couldn't do the work, I don't know, that they needed done. So then they decided, well, we're just going to make some little slaves. And so that's when they went in and took, I don't know if they really took some sort of monkey type creature or something. They've always shown that, like in the Planet of the Apes and stuff, and even in their little songs and the stuff, that even when people would say rude things, like back in the 70s, and call them monkeys and stuff like that. And so it makes you think, like, was it, like, did they take some kind of ape kind of creature that was here, that was living, its life, and then they decided to turn it into their slaves and took them in the labs and started, messing with their DNA and splicing and stuff until they made, new ones, just like how those guys are over there making these kitten rat things and then just letting them go out in the wild. So, and this is a part of it. Even Crystal, like she was watching some old movie yesterday. Was she watching Dr. Vibes or something? I was watching Curse of Frankenstein. They always come out and say, what science is all about. And they're trying to move ahead in science by splicing different people together and stuff. And they're doing so much advancement. It's like trying to go against God is an advancement. And so, anyways, it's in all of the movies, the older movies, especially if you find sci-fi horror. I mean, it's in all of them. It's crazy. There's so many. I mean, just some guy has people in his basement, and he's doing the same thing. It's all over. And so they were definitely letting us know what was going on. But, everybody just going around like, oh, that's crazy. That's just movie stuff. I've never thought that. I've always thought, well, and plus I had them telling me that we were in a science experiment and stuff. And so then okay, so we had the Anunnaki come in and they do this DNA splicing, and there's other beings used, and other beings came and started doing this stuff too, and and some of their DNA and stuff got interjected through mating processes, so that they became coupled up with the original people. And then there's other people who came, and then the settlers or whatever from these other planets who came, and then they had been here for a long time, had developed a society here. And so there's a lot of intermixing. And that is a part of our experiment too, is, because out there in all of the different planets and stuff like that, like I said, if you went to the Pleiades, you're going to find all Pleiadians. You're not going to find like, oh, the Lemurians are now moved in on the Pleiades, where everybody is in its own station. Everybody's in their own wavelength. Everybody just hangs out with their own. And so here, what this is, we've got a huge mix of all different beings. Like everybody's got DNA of all different beings. You've got your DNA memories and stuff like that, but a lot more makes you up than what you think, and definitely more than what they want you to know. And so the beings that were here originally, who got turned into their slaves, and then they, there's a whole thing in the Sumerian tablets too, where they had to get rid of them and start over. Like they weren't happy because they were still too animal-like. and it was like the third try or something. And it has to do something too with, like I said, the Homo sapien sapien, Homo sapien, Neanderthal, and stuff like that. It's all, there's even in anthropology and stuff, there's a part of this, the Neanderthals went out and they coexisted with the Homo sapiens or the Homo sapiens sapiens, but then the Neanderthals seem to just kind of fade out or something, which then science will tell you, well, people got smarter. It was the ones who whose brain developed and they got smarter and could survive, and the other ones couldn't or something. They'll come up with some story or whatever. But I kind of think the Neanderthals were the ones who continued. That was like the original people. And so then, because all the people now, they're all mixes. Everybody's mixed up with all different, and plus you've got your own DNA from your own past lives and your own existence outside of here. So, but everybody wants to get so stuck on just this one, what they are right here, right now. This is what I am right here, right now. It's like, you got to move out of that. And I think even that there's a lot of tribes who have got cut off from their spirituality, from this indoctrinated society, that the newer, like they need the elders, but there's ones that are just cut off from their spirit, nature. I think there's being coming back, where people are starting to get more in touch with that side of themselves. But, lots of different groups, lots of different tribes all got disconnected from that. And it was all done on purpose. But I think that they, so they created their group, their people to go out and do their work. And then you had all these different races and different beings all coming and living. And even when you go and you look at the different cave drawings and stuff, it was very mixed. Even in Admiral Byrd or into Tartaria and stuff. And I don't remember who it was who, it wasn't Admiral Byrd, I don't think. You'd have to watch that documentary, but there's somebody who had gone there and had seen, and then they had written it out in a journal or whatever about all these different beings. Like there's a historical thing about it, like if you can find that information, but that's where I'd seen it in there. But that is in a lot of different shows that they show, that we've had times where all of the different beings all live together. And so, but there's these, the 13 original families that are, they're different. They are a negative and hostile base. They want to take places over and stuff. That's who, I don't know if the 13 original families had good intentions, but the dark energy here or something, or if they were always there to take over, I'm not sure. But these 13 original, what the hell happened? That was weird. That's how dark it is. Hold on. I'm telling you, I'm under attack. I'm serious. Seriously, I swear to God, I'm under attack. Like, I'm not shitting. But you see why I have to have the light. See, well, even if I turn on all the lights, it's still really dark because it's just dark in here. So, anyways, I don't know what the fuck. My plant lights went out too. So, anyways, so, I guess they don't want me talking about this. Maybe it's because everything is just getting so close to going the other direction, and they're just trying to cause so much interference. And maybe those of us who are, a part of pushing things, pushing that energy, and not standing back, just keep pushing it. No matter how hard they push back, we just keep pushing it forward. Then maybe that we're under attack. I don't know. So anyways, okay, let me think. So So all these, so the 13 original families, see, they are the ones, though, who have charge over us. They're the ones who have gone off on these wackadoo experiments and stuff. But all of the different souls that incarnate in, we participate, we play our part, because we are the souls. We're the cells of the universe. And so if you think of the universe, like I've said before, as being a giant body, and so this giant body, and it opening its eye. But what was getting me is, because there's so much weird stuff going on in the sky. There's this one lady, she's got this, she's picking up colors and energy. She can see colors and energy. She's seeing all sorts of, she's saying there's angels and dragons and all sorts of stuff. You can see, like I can't see on her thing, but you can definitely see these energetic colors and stuff moving around. And that is like where I said how, when I was talking about like those shrimp or whatever, like not everything sees like we do. And some things just see like color and energy and stuff. So our vision is different, but it's our vision is part of our story, what we're here to experience. And in this experience that we have all these other beings out that have come in and stuff. So there's a part where they all are just like, let's see what happens. And they had to let mankind, you know, evolve. And a part of it, though, is us all coming together in unity. Because that is, you know, like all these different beings and all these different, it's a unifying thing for everybody, like the whole galaxy. And if you think about, man, if you think about it, that we're in a giant body, a huge body of life, and that we are all the cells, and that the places like the Pleiades, all these different places are like the organs. They are a certain vibration. They're a certain thing, a certain energy. And so those different energies inside the body, and like I had said here, when they had all these different beings came here to bring in the light, it was because of the disease. It was so diseased here. And so there's so much darkness that it had become a disease, like a cancer. And think about this on the micro, macro, what's happening in all the individuals and how it's happening on in a big scale. And it's like I'm saying, it's like a gradation of all things. But I just, when he was showing that eyeball thing, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's like we are the cells inside of the being, but the cells are scared of the being. The cells are scared of themselves. They're scared of what they are. They're scared of what their role is. They're just scared about everything. And so it's like they're fighting against their own self. It's like the universe is fighting some of this energy as the disease to clear it out. You know, I'm going to be glad. I'm telling you, I'm going to be so glad when some of this energy is cleared out. Like, oh my God, I can't even fucking handle TikTok right now. It's either every 2 seconds is somebody telling me what's about to happen in my life. And it's the same, it's crazy. And I get the same messages all the time. And it's from all different people. They always say the same things. And then the other one that I just nonstop keep getting is these animal ones. Fuck, and if you live by Houston, they're about to put a whole bunch down at this Humane Society. Like the Humane Societies are so run over and they don't give a fuck. Just don't understand why they just can't come up with another plan. But it's traumatizing to see this and see their stories. Just nonstop. It's making me sick. And then the rescues of these abuse. Oh my gosh. There was one of this tiny, tiny little kitten that somebody just dipped him in blue paint. And so it was completely stuck. And they're having such a hard time getting the paint off of it. It's fuck. Oh, God, the cruelness, the just disconnect from life and respect for other beings and stuff is just mind-blowing. It's just hard. This is hard when you have that. Is it part of you? Like, nobody has to tell me this stuff. It's a part of me. Like, everything is alive and everything has its right to be alive. Everything, we need to have respect for everything. And we've lost it. And then fighting against our own nature, fighting against our own what we are, and and being scared of it, being fearful. So it's I don't know. I just really, it struck me when I was seeing that, and I was just like, oh my God, we're like in this being, and we are, you know, the thought forms of this being, but the people are so scared. And so, but even the being is us. Like, we make it all up. Everybody, everything, the universe creates itself. And this is interesting because there's a lot of people on Google Maps all the time. And this one is the Antarctica. People are obsessed with the Antarctica. And people are finding all sorts of weird shit. This one was really weird. So they zoom in and zoom out so you can see they're on so if the ice wall goes here, then land goes out. And so as the land goes out, like Admiral Byrd said, you start seeing mountains and forests. Like, I swear, I'm really beginning to think this is where Melania is from, outside the ice wall. And so so on this land that they show, and they go down, and they say in the video, they say the veil is thinning. The things that are not seen are beginning to be seen. And there is whole intense cities out here. And so they go in and see, and it is like Tokyo or something. I mean, it is definitely some kind of advanced city. And it is... I didn't see spaceships flying around or something, but you know, that's definitely, there's an advanced city that's out there full of people. And so that's why I think it is a part of the disclosure, the part of us seeing. It would not surprise me at all if it ends up being Melania and what's his name, the kid, Baron, are time travelers from somewhere else, because any other realm is time traveling, because we have a certain time here. So we are on a clock. We're on a time. We put ourselves into a time window. We format our existence through a concept based on time. And so leaving out of that time construct is time traveling. It's going out. So somebody else, they're living in a different time, a different period. So that's why I say it's like different realms, and it's all based on vibration. So this person was saying the vibration is changing, and we're starting to be able to see other realms, and which makes sense to me, because I mean, everybody's seeing all these different creatures. There's so many fucking creatures showing up. There's so many different, I mean, everything is beginning to show itself, reveal itself, and that is us. I think, you know, we're becoming more aware, and we're raising our vibrations and awareness. And this is something too that is important, because there's so many people who like the super spirits and whatnot, who get people all jacked up. And so they put it all on this you got to raise your vibration. You got to raise your vibration. If your vibration doesn't raise, you're not going to ascend. You're going to cease to exist. I don't know what their bullshit is. But so they keep saying, you got to raise your vibration. So you can't think about anything negative. You can't, anybody who triggers you, you just need to run from that situation. Don't be triggered. That's low vibration. Dude. You want to stay low vibration? Live by their philosophy. That you won't be raising your vibration. The way to raise your vibration is accepting yourself, for one thing, not judging yourself because you get angry sometimes. Like, you have all these emotions you're supposed to be learning about and feeling and understanding. so that you can find your own balance. It's you, you know. So they want to tell you to ignore these parts. And I've been saying this for a couple days, but they want to say, you know, ignore this, ignore that. Don't focus on anything that's going to bring you down, because it's going to lower your vibration and you're not going to ascend. So there's people out there who are believing this, and you know, they're crying, they're distraught, they don't know what they're going to do, because the you know, bad stuff keeps happening. They're not supposed to face it. They're not supposed to fix it. They're not supposed to do anything, because if they give it any of their energy, they're lowering their vibration. It's like, dude, that is not how it fucking works. These people are whacked. They're wackadoos who have got people trapped in their own ego business. So you got to not listen to people who say wacky shit, but you got to go internal. And still is like, hell yeah, mom. You got to go internal, because you have communication inside of you that will give you confirmation on things, or it will make you feel uneasy, like, that's not right, that doesn't feel right. You got to learn how to use your own body as a barometer to your understanding. And you know, and there's those of us who are like good at it because we've been doing it our whole lives. But you know, I mean, living your life like I did, by being that way, you would get laughed at and made fun of. So a lot of people didn't do that. A lot of people went the other way. Nobody wanted to be laughed at, so everybody wanted to join the crowd. So a lot of people join the crowd, which cuts you off from yourself. So now you've got to go out and re-find yourself. And then you've got all of this interference. All of these beings are, I mean, some of it is total infiltration, 100%. Just like that spiritual conference where that one girl said she saw actual Dracos and other beings standing on the stage, and they saw her, and they knew that she saw them, and man, that's just creepy shit right there. So anyways, the spiritual thing, like I've been saying for the whole fucking time, is totally infiltrated. You cannot listen to some of these people, and it's whacked shit that they say. So you don't ignore your triggers. Your triggers are there for you to purge out your pain. So that is what raises your vibration, is actually purging out your pain. So you got to reprocess. You got to go into the trigger, into the pain. You got to go into it to whatever it is. It can be so many different things, but you got to get into it. You got to feel around. You got to look at it. You got to relive it. You got to experience it so you can, however it is that you got to let go of it. You know, a lot of things you can let go of through forgiveness. Just seeing that people weren't trying to hurt you on purpose. People are just broken. There's lots of broken people out there. And so you got to see that the pain that you're feeling is to let it go, to get rid of it, to get it out of you. Getting the pain out of you is what raises your vibration. So they're telling you to do the opposite. They're telling you to keep all your pain inside of you and pretend like it's not there. Just like how the Christians want to tell you, you know, just pretend like you're this other way. Don't be real, because then you know, they don't like real people. Like, I've been made fun of my whole fucking life by a lot of different people, different groups, atheists, Christian, like everybody. And you gotta feel. Feel shame. You wouldn't have something that you were supposed to feel bad about. You have emotions because they're there for you. They're there for you to experience. They're there to help you grow, to help you evolve. You got to know what's right and what's wrong. You got to feel it at your core. You got to remove the things that are wrong for you and let them go and get them out of you. So you got to purge out the dark energy. You got to get it out of you and let it go. That's what raises your vibration. Your vibration raises automatically as you go. And I'm telling you, your weight changes. Weight just falls off of you. You become lighter. I've been saying this for years. You become lighter. You become, sorry, I'm growling like crazy too. You become more like, it's buoyant. I swear. I just all of a sudden, you know, it felt like I was like I could just float, like I can see. There was a lot of visions that I was getting too during this time while I was like becoming lighter and I was letting go of things, and it was like, this is cool as shit, man. And I started getting these visions, and it would be a lot of times it would be me and my match person, and we would be running. Only it wouldn't be like running. It was like we were able to like. It was like these giant, like we could all take off from the ground, and it was like the more you let go of, and the more you let go of, the more you have to realize what this place is, what you're doing here, and that you're not flesh and blood. It all goes together. So then you start to develop more power over the avatar. But see, that's why they want to keep everybody distracted and create an avatar for a video game. I mean, all these girls, even these spiritual girls that want to keep on using these filters and stuff like that, you're playing right into their hands. Like bold glamour, like, come on, people. You're playing right into their hands. So they want to keep you trapped into their world, and their world is artificial. And a lot of people, they keep them trapped in the consumerism, trying to buy your way into this part that you've designed for yourself, this idea, this formatted identity that they've created, that you can jump on board and try and create it for yourself. This idea of success, the American dream. And so you have to break free from these concepts, these ideas. What is successful? Is it really successful to work all the time? Is that success? Is that what you really feel is successful? Or is success to spend time with people you love and have the freedom to do what you want during the day? Because that seems like success to me. And, yesterday, this woman, I blocked her. I was like, I kept going to see, is this a real person? And they had like 6 videos, which still, I think the bots are just getting more formatted. But I had said something about, that's why I like to be on here more, because I think you guys understand what I'm saying so much more. You say something to these people and they don't get what you're saying at all. They don't get where you're coming from, and they'll argue with you. And so this lady starts telling me, well, you can just go be poor and lose everything and, become homeless, and I'm going to go to work, and I'm going to use credit, and I'm going to make a good life for my child, because that's what's important and stuff. It's like, you can't get people to see what they can't see. I mean, they gotta go through the experience. They gotta feel it. It's gotta hit them. Like, I don't know how anybody cannot see that at this point. Why all this is happening. Why things are being ripped out from under people. Why people are losing everything. Like, you gotta be able to see through it. You gotta be able to see. The people cannot do it for themselves. They literally can't do it for themselves. They are so dependent on a system to contain them, control them, and give them an identity. It takes a strong soul. It takes a strong mind to pull free from that, pull free from the indoctrination, pull free from the programming, pull free from the artificial, crazy world that they created to beat us down. And so all the people who can do that, that's the people who are going to be moving forward into the age of Aquarius. These other people, like, they can't. They're just completely dependent on this social construct to give them an identity, to give them a future. That it is all artificial. It's like, how can you not see? How can you not wake up? Where is your soul? Where is your spirit? What are you talking about? That you're just going to dig in to this fucking, it's like, we're going to get out the Monopoly game and we're going to play Monopoly, and then we're going to have these players that are just all of a sudden, this is the real, I need that Park Place. It's like, what the fuck? What is going on with fucking people? It trips me out. Totally trips me out, because I've lived so differently. I've been pulling free from what other people think of me my whole fucking life. I didn't go into, I'm going to join the club. I stayed out on my own. And, the lone wolf. I was like, but, the lone wolf also went through a hard time too. I mean, I had to go learn my value. I was a people pleaser. I tried to make other people happy. And it's hard when you can see into people's soul and you can see their real pain. But so many people get caught up in the surface, and they become the surface character, and they hide from the soul character. But there's all these different people. I could see their soul, and so I would treat them like a soul, and get used and abused and walked on by people because they are disconnected from their soul, and they don't. I don't know. It's like they get angry at their soul, like their soul is giving them something to think about, and they're like, "Shut the fuck up! I want to listen to them." Like I don't know everybody's internal battle, but it's definitely an internal battle. It's definitely a spiritual battle happening here. There's just way too many people who are cut off and think this is real, and think this is real life, and think what they're doing here matters. It's like this is all to show you who you are, so you can experience yourself. So it's not at all what you think it is. And so the okay, so I feel like I've got a bunch of things. Hold on. So anyways, so the forgiveness and it's empowerment. It's moving out. They want to keep everybody in a total victim mindset, helpless, hopeless, dependent on them. You need them to feel better. You need them for shelter. You need them for resources. You need them for everything. And so you, as the eternal being, needs to pull free and be like, I don't need them for anything. Somebody had just showed me, or I had just seen a video picture that somebody had done, and they said freedom, what freedom really looks like. And it's like, a desert island with, a family, a big party out there, and everybody just living their lives. And then what they, want us is that they're complete slaves in an industrial, dark, empty, hollow, superficial consumerism. That's what they want, and that's their idea of life, living. And so you can have a real life, or you can have their life. And so many people, they can't see. And even in this picture where it was like the upside down, and it was like the dark and the light, and where we're in the upside down, we're in the dark, but how we're going to flip into the light. But so many people are so uncomfortable like that. Like they're going to feel like, well, I can't do that. Well, I can't. How am I supposed to eat? What am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to get things? Where am I supposed to get my face products? I just saw a lady having a big fucking fit in a parking lot. She's so confused because it was Kohl's or Target or something. She's out doing her Black Friday shopping, and that she went to get her favorite lip color, and that they no longer carry it there, although it's their top selling one and you can buy it online. So she's just out there questioning, well, how? She's so confused. It's like, chick, you better start just pulling free from all this shit, because it's all about to go. Like, that's what I have been steadily pulling free from all of this stuff. As soon as I started seeing, it was like, okay, so what do we need to eat? Okay, so what products do we need? Okay, so did people used to wash their hair all the time? Okay, so did people used to wash their dishes? Do we need to wash our hands all the time? Do we need to start questioning things? Start looking at it and start noticing your programming. Like, whoa, I gotta brush my teeth. It's 9 o'clock in the morning. I'm an hour late. Well, I better brush my teeth again. It's program time. Oh, it's dinner time, isn't it time? Well, it's a program time to eat. Are you hungry? No, but it's time to eat. It's the time I'm supposed to eat. So let's get a meal going. And then we wonder why everybody's overweight. And then when you see, the people who are out there in the 70s all living their lives, communicating with each other, and then you drop into whatever, the 2000s or something, and everybody's face planted into a screen, and then everybody no longer likes their faces. They've changed their entire hairs into fucking artificial mermaid hair. I think some of these people look so fucking ridiculous. Oh my God. And then when I see like really old ladies too with these wild hair colors, it's just like, what? I don't get it, man. I don't get it, man. I just don't get it. And, but then you get these older ladies who think like, you know, I don't get it, man. I don't fucking get it. I have definitely noticed that I'm judgmental. I see what I'm working on here. I see. It is shown to me all the time. Boundaries and stuff. And I'm not perfect at it. Like, I can be, if I feel like you're coming in on my boundaries, I can overreact. I can get real pissed off because I've had my boundaries squashed by so many people. People stomping all over me for my whole fucking life. So now that I got comfortable with standing up for myself, sometimes I can be pretty much like, fuck off. I don't need this shit. And so, anyways, but it totally is very been highlighted to me how judgmental I am. But I also feel like it's a part of what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to be seeing things. I'm supposed to be questioning things. I'm supposed to be sharing what I see. So, I'm not going to be like all bad and all like, oh my God, you're the worst. You're so judgmental. You're the worst. I can't stand you. No, it's like, oh, you're judging somebody again. Oh, is that necessary? Should you be looking at it that way? And so I just question myself. Look at it. Go deeper into yourself. Just, have a conversation with yourself through the day. And again, it was brought up to me again on some other person's video, how they are so mind blown. It's only 30% of us that have inner dialogue, which I don't understand that at all. Don't understand what's going on in everybody else's minds. Like, my inner dialogue is more than just inner dialogue. Like, I'm telling you, I have fucking meetings. I have conversations all the goddamn time. It is far beyond inner dialogue. And so when people don't even have any inner dialogue, it's like, what does your brain do? Like, what are you doing? How do you think? How do you figure shit out? Like, I don't get it. I have fucking conversations with committees and shit to figure shit out. So I don't fucking... Like, this trips me out. I'm telling you, this whole experience is very trippy. So, and the people who are, want to just create some other avatar on a screen so that they can go live through this other avatar on some screen and not live in real life, and how they keep wanting to pull you into it, and people keep going. Like, I don't even, I'm sure this thing with these glasses is, I don't know. Some people can go there, I guess. I mean, we've already got people putting CHIPs inside themselves. They're all about it. They think it's cool as fuck. And then you have this other group of people who, they aren't even going to accept any quantum financial thing or anything because that's control. And that's digital currency, and they're trying to control us. It's like, oh, God, it's so exhausting. It's so exhausting. Fuck. I am so fucking burnt out. So the currency is, this whole thing is going to fall apart about our money. It's going to blow up. And it's going to, it already has started creating bartering in other ways, because we need to form other ways of interaction. We relied on them. They took control and they turned us into their slaves. So we have to create other pathways to market, to interact with each other and exchange. And so part of this development is our pathways that we create. And if it's barter, trading, whatever, that is something that goes back to that. But there will still be gold and silver. Like, there will still be things that have real value. And since we're not going to all walk around carrying pockets of real gold and silver with us, there will be places that it would be put into these exchange places. They're not going to be like banks, because they won't be able to take our money and invest it. They won't have access to the money. It would be more like safety deposit boxes. So your money is your money. Nobody can mess with it. Nobody can touch it. Nobody can take it. And so you will have your gold and silver pot, whatever, your amount of value that you have accumulated, however you accumulate it, and then you would have it in there, and then you would be able to access it through the quantum system. So there will be like a banking system. You would have a card, so you would be able to pull from your money without having to go to the bank and get the gold and take it down to somebody and say, here's the gold, you know. So it would be, you know, a lot of reasons. Like, it would be a lot safer to be able to just use a card. And there's a whole thing about our quantum accounts. Nobody can access it. Nobody can infiltrate it. And then I saw some other guys on some podcasts discussing about when this all goes down in the gold and stuff. And they were saying again, too, they're not going to just turn around and just load people's accounts with $1 million. Like, there's people who think like everybody's just going to all of a sudden be rich. It is going to be, you know, like the older people. Supposedly they're getting a big payout. And so, and they're going to also get a big a payout on retirement. Retirement's going to go from like $1,500 a month to $5,000 a month. So they will have nothing to worry about, and then they'll have a big payout. So, you know, in most cases, well, you know, a lot of them will go down to the med beds. There's somebody on Twitter, there's a lot of accounts that, you know, they say they're JFK and JFK Jr. and all this stuff. And I guess Vincent Kennedy, he left, and he was a big one that all of the patriots were. And I guess it was a sad day that he left Twitter, so I don't know what all's going on with that. But there's a JFK one who said that he just got out of the bed, and he's looking real young, and he's looking real good, and he can't wait till everybody else gets to get in it. So I don't know, because supposedly that there was a JFK, and there was a clone, and I don't know if they killed the clone, and he went into hiding all that time ago. I have no idea. I mean, none of us really know how many people. I mean, supposedly Elvis has been at Tupac. I mean, there's a whole bunch of people who supposedly just wanted to get out of the fame, just wanted to get out of the bullshit. And the only way to get out, Michael Jackson did it too. The only way to get out of the stronghold is to just fake your death. And so there's a lot of deaths that were fake. Diana's is supposedly. So there's a lot of them who faked it, but they had brought up about the med beds. So there's going to be, the med beds is real. That's coming. And it's going to, you know, take away disease and stuff. We're changing. We're not going to have all of this disease and sickness and feeling sick. You're going to be your optimum. And so that is, you know, it's like right around the corner. It's going to go right with all the money thing, because it's a part of Nassara Gassara with all the patents. All the patents, they had like 6,000 patents that they had repressed that would all help us, but that would make it, we wouldn't need them. So any scientist or anybody who came up with something that would make us not need them, that they would kill the scientists and take their work, take their information. And so all those patents now are going to be released. So the med bed technology, they've been using that in the military for a long time. Because I had heard about the med beds back when I was listening to like Corey Good and stuff. So they were already using the med beds for a long time. So now we will get to have access to them. So then we get to turn back the time. So a lot of old people, like I've told my mom and stuff, because she'll be like, well, you know, I'm so old or whatever. And it's like, yeah, but Mom, you're going to be able to turn back time. You get to go back. You get to go back. It's like 25 years. But it's also, you know, 25 years can be a lot of difference for a lot of different people. You know, 25 years of drinking hard and riding hard and putting away wet or whatever. It's going to, in somebody who's 25 years, that they take care of themselves and they're in good shape and they feel good, then it's going to be very different outcomes, I think. Like 25 years is going to look different on different people. And so, but all of these people will get this opportunity for a redo. You don't have to die anymore. You go into a med bed over and over and over. And I think probably to the point we'll all have them in our own houses. You know, maybe that's what we'll end up sleeping in, like what they show in the space movies. We'll just go into our little pod to sleep, and then we will recirculate, and then we'll get out in the morning and we'll be all refreshed. So we're going more into a high-tech kind of society like that. And so, but for the older people, supposedly, you know, over 60, you get a full payout, which, you know, like I've said, like I've got things, my court case and stuff, there's different things like them taking my house, and I think that your things that they did to you to try and bring you down, that you there will be payout for that. Like, I don't know if I would get my court money if they will say, well, you lost in court, but here, you get this because you should have won. And so I don't know, how it's all going to go down. That's going to be when we go into this reparations, which obviously it's not going to be done by the end of the month. Whoever had said that, we're going to be all done by the end of the month. Well, better hurry up. But that clock is counting down. And so if that is going to be when their money ends and everything collapses, which everything is leading up to it. There's all these stocks being sold off and stuff. So everything is leading up to it. You can watch as this shit is happening. I don't know what people pay attention to. But so all of the collapse is occurring currently. And so then when that goes down, and so they're supposedly going to call in the old people. Maybe they get first access to the med beds, hopefully. And so then we get the payout. And I think, a lot of people will do things for their family, like start a business, like, what can we do so that we could make money as a family and we can rely on this. It'll be all different. It'll be so many different things because it's going to be all of us are the ones. We are the ones who are making this new civilization, not a corporation. Like, you got to get out of this dependency and start going into independency and creative thought. And so there will be all of these people who get this money, who I think a lot of them will put it. There's not even going to be, I think, a way to just go out and shop mindlessly. There's going to be so much of this going down, going down, going down. These stores are all about to close down because they didn't meet their quarter. It's going to be all this drama and shit. And, Walmart's closing. Well, how are we going to get our food? It's like, well, you probably should have been watching for this to come. I mean, it's been fucking heading this way for a long time. They've been closing them down all across the country. So, you got to start paying attention to shit. And so the stores will close. There'll be all this drama. People won't know where to get their food. They won't be able to get their products. So there's going to be, people are going to have a lot of money, but there's not going to be a way to go just spend it. Just like be mindlessly spending. And it's like, what do you really want to do? What do you want to create with this money? And so there will be that, and I'm sure it will have all to do with like the older people's programming and the program that they're breaking free from, and also the connection with the other generations. Like, I'm sure the universe has a whole thing happening there. And then the next younger people, who are the people who have families right now, they get a big payout. They don't get a full payout. They get a big chunk of money, I think, so that to get the families going, to get them started so that they can, a lot of them will buy farms and start growing their own food, and they'll develop communities. And so there'll be a lot of money to go into that, and there'll be a lot of people who will be out there to help people, to go in and help them figure out how to start a garden, what to plant, what things grow good here. There's going to be a lot of assistance. That's why I said people who are good at that, people who understand that, they're going to be like on a pedestal for people. Like that's who you'd be paying. Could you come out and help me, tell me like what kind of things I can grow, how I should grow them, how should I set up my garden, where should I do this? Those kinds of people will be revered. And because they will have an important role. Like, they don't have that much importance right now because you can run down to the store and get your shit. But when you can't do that, things turn. And different people all of a sudden have a hold in the information, and suddenly, that's a hot ticket. And so that's where I'm saying this energetic shift is going to elevate a lot of people who are down here, just trying to, like what I'm doing on here. You keep coming in and keep talking and keep doing this stuff, even though it just goes nowhere, goes nowhere, goes nowhere. And so there's a lot of people out there doing that. It just goes nowhere, and it's very frustrating. But we're all waiting for this flip to happen, for the lights to come on, for people to really understand what is valuable and what isn't valuable, to change their priorities, to understand what's happening here on the planet. And so, You have all of the group of people, and they'll get a big payout, and then they are going to get some kind of a stipend every month to for their money. And I think that that is, you know, so that they can get the family bonds back together, so they can bring families back in, moms and dads spending time with their kids, and stop giving them to the government to raise. And so there's going to be that part of our society that will be going on. Then the younger people, they're not going to get a big payout. Like, I think there will be some money. Like I think that people who have been, you know, screwed over in the court system, like by CPS and stuff, I think they're going to get payout of money. I think they'll get some money out for what they've gone through with the courts and stuff, because it's CPS, but they may have to file for that. There will be class action lawsuits. CPS is all going down. So they may have to file and do the work to get what's coming to them, because that is what they're going to do for the younger people. They have to still teach the younger people how to create their own vision, how to make things happen that you want to happen, how to develop, how to, you know, to have work. It's not just work as a slave for somebody else, but you have to understand how to work for yourself, how to make things happen for yourself. So there's like all these lessons for the younger people to start learning, because they have been formatted into a very dependent state. And there, you know, so much confusion and so much distrust and so much depression and anxiety. And so they have to turn those tables around, and they have to give these kids purpose and identity, and get them to see like what you do matters, you know. And I mean, we'll probably have young people who will be out managing places and stuff. They'll be running communities in different areas of, I mean, they'll have like important roles. It won't be just like how now, well, you know, just young people work at McDonald's or whatever. No, it will be based on their own abilities, you know. But so the harder you work, the more that you can really move up and make more money, because they're going to get paid a lot more. And there's what is that? Because they'll get paid more. They will. It's like teaching them to have a work ethic, that it's important to be able to take care of yourself and take care of others. And so there's things that they were trying to take out of that generation, that to make them completely dependent, so that they have to now be reprogrammed. And so it will be kind of like having jobs and stuff, but a lot of jobs are going to be AI. A lot of jobs that we have will be AI, but there's going to be a place for everybody. It's not going to be, because all these jobs that are going to be AI would be ones that the middle people, who the family raisers, you know, that they would have. And so those jobs will be taken by AI, so that these people can really focus on what's important, their family and raising their kids and getting their kids, you know. So many people don't raise their kids. They don't actually raise them and give them opportunity, and give them structure, give them some sort of identity or something, that they are just I don't know. It's like people, well, it seems to me that most parents are children still. And so as soon as the parenting becomes hard, they just leave the kids on their own. And so you have so many, man, it's out of control right now. But it is like people have just given up. They just have given up, and they don't care. And so their kids are just out of control. I'm sure the kids all feel like, well, I guess I'm too much. I guess, you know, that I'm not good enough. And so, you know, especially that one video just keeps coming in my head of that woman who was dropping her kids off at her mom's house, just getting rid of her kids. I'm done. I can't deal with them anymore. I can't handle it. There's so much of that. So many people just can't handle life. And then kids are work. They're a challenge. I don't know where anybody came up with thinking that, kids were like a purse, just go with the outfit. It's like, no, they're actual human beings that are here to try and figure life out. You got to give them some kind of a structure. You got to give them some sort of, to get them to be able to get out in the world and make it. And they're just doing the opposite. And so it totally is the downfall of our society. We're experiencing the downfall of our society because it was shoddy. It was fucking fake ass bullshit. People were all broken. People were all phony. So we have to go through this period of time where it all falls apart. And then there'll be people who can't handle it. They'll fall apart with it and they will go. And at this point, it's like, goodbye. We don't need you anymore. You need to go and figure your shit out. Because, we're not going to be living in lands where people are painting kittens and tying dogs to trees and shit. Like, this time is over. So, people who, like that, like, one of the things in Houston, that they're asking for this dog to be adopted. It's fucking so sad. Like, one person took their 11-month-old puppy in and said that they wanted it put down. And so they are holding it to see if somebody will adopt it. Another person brought in their dog who was pregnant and said they wanted it put down. And it just had a puppy. It's the cutest thing. It's the cutest fucking thing. Both of them. When they show these dogs and they look up with their eyes, it's like, oh my God, my heart. I can't. Oh, I'm so fucking sick of this shit. So sick of this shit. And so then, this one has just had this baby and the owner wants it put down. So if somebody goes in and adopts it, I just don't understand our society with this. There's just a lot of stuff I don't understand about our society. It's just like, don't understand people. I don't understand how they think and why I don't know. Why they don't think, why they don't feel, how they're cut off from their souls, from themselves or something. So anyways, there's going to be all these shifts and stuff. And when they start saying about the digital currency, the QFS, that is the one. Everything that is quantum is going to be our future. We're going into a quantum field, a quantum future. And our money, it's all going to be this quantum thing. Anything else is, the dark energy trying to keep a hold. But there's two different things. And it's just wild how people just, I don't know. I don't get how people see things. I don't get how people don't look into things and they just keep saying stuff that isn't true. So many people. And they've got people listening to them. That one lady, Bold Glamour, who she just is, to me when I hear her, she's just like, oh my gosh, she's so divisive and so judgmental and so angry and so condescending. Like, she has these certain things that are just like, and her account just grows and grows and grows. This other one, who I said, all her fucking shit is just her putting on filters and lip syncing, and she's horrible lip syncer. I mean, so bad. Her account just keeps growing and growing and growing. And, my account, where I'm sitting there trying to talk logic to people, doesn't grow at all. Just sits there. My videos don't get seen. And it's wild. So you can see what they're trying to promote, what kind of stuff, and the people who are a part of that, how they just jump on board like they think that they're fantastic. It's like you're feeding a dark energy. You're a part of a dark energy. Your dark energy is elevating you. So, yeah, I don't want to be elevated by the dark energy. I'm waiting for the light. The light will elevate me. The light will come on and the light will turn things around. Those of us who have been in the shadows will come into the light. And the people who have been in the light will be exposed and be embarrassed. It will feel like a complete humiliation, like the emperor's new clothes. And that will be the start of their dark night. And so many people, like, it's like lose face. That's wild too, lose face, and then using filters and stuff. That's wild. But it will be like they will lose lose face. They will, people will see them differently, and it will be very exposed. And people don't realize too, as a part of the spiritual awakening, how you can see through people. You can see through them. You can see who they are. You can't hide it. You can't put on a filter. You can't pretend. You can't put on a cute outfit and pretend like you're not who you are. Everybody can see who you are. This old world where you could do that and pretend, and you could put on a cute outfit, go out, and even though you were a rotten piece of shit, and you could have people think that you were a good person, that's changing. That's all going away. And so, and all the people that lived like that, who wanted to be that, they're going to have it blow up in their face. It's going to expose them. And that has to do with other past lives. And I don't know the roles, all the different roles that they played in past lives, why to come into this period of time to have this huge public humiliation would be what you needed to go through to process, but I think that that's what's coming for a lot of people. And I think it's going to hurt. Public humiliation is horrible. And so, anyways, we'll see how it all plays out. I think, I'm hoping, I really hope that this countdown on this fucking debt clock really is counting us down to the end of the month when the money ends, and it is going to be Merry Christmas in December, that the financial crashes. Although for, most of the people, I would say that they're going to be upset. They're going to be depressed. They're going to be falling apart. Like, it's going to really impact people in a negative way. But those of us who have been preparing and watching, and we're all waiting on the edge of our seats like, hell yeah, come on, come on, come on, crash, hurry, sell off all your stock, let's go. It's like, we know what's coming. We know free resources. We know that this is freedom. And once they let go of this, and the hold they have over us on debt, and all these people who want to keep it going, for it to just be ripped out of their hands, like I've said for all this time, everything that you're holding on to from this world is going to be ripped out of your hands. And that's why I have been on a steady let go. You gotta let go of everything. And so it is a time. Well, it's a time for awakening, but it's a time for some to see, but it's a time for some to let go. So, those of us who are in this stage, this is a period of letting go. You don't need this, you don't need that, you don't need any of that. You got to learn, like, what you don't need. And to me, an important question is to just ask yourself, what do you need to be happy? Like, really get to the crux of it. What do you really need to be happy? And that's what you gotta look for. I mean, if you really, really feel like you need a 3-story house with a 2-car garage, a big workshop out back and all that stuff, then, focus on your dreams of what you feel you need to deserve and want, and put it out in the universe. Quit thinking that you need to go out and work to get the money to buy it. Start telling the universe. Let the universe bring it in. They're a lot more magical, and it's a lot less work. So anyways, I'll get going and get my day going, and we'll see how this day goes. So I think today's the 26th. So we have another, tomorrow should be the day, if it's going to be, if that's what their countdown is on this debt calculator. I don't know, though. It can be just another thing to make these people panic, because the people who are left that they are bringing out of the woodwork, that, they know they're about to be exposed. And I'll tell you another thing, that one guy who I was talking about, the guy who works for the government, who is all busted. There's so many of these people now who are busted with, kitty corn all over there, and then selling it and partaking in it and all their bullshit. This guy, they already let him out, and they're not firing him from his job. He gets to keep his government job in the education, so But it was definite confirmation for a lot of people who keep trying to say they're putting corn into the children's education in the schools. Well, it's confirmation. Yeah, the people who are running the not itinerary, the not the agenda, not itinerary, but the information. You know, it is. They are a bunch of perps that don't care about people. So that's all true. So, anyways, just stay prepared. I mean, there's still fucking earthquakes and storms and tragic shit going down. They've still got all of their protests. They've got big protests happening. And, you know, it's all, in any of these protests, they can all of a sudden turn it violent and turn it into, there's just no telling. There's no telling what's going to happen on any of this stuff. If that's going to be the thing, you know, that one of these turns violent and they bring in the National Guard, they put us into, make us go into our homes and turn on the TV, like, you know, stuff is going to start happening that's going to be of the light. You know, we're still in the shadows. We're still, you can see the lights breaking through. It's breaking through all over the place. Many people find the light. The light comes to them, but the light is still breaking through, but there's still people in the dark that are being elevated. So the dark is still there, but there's a lot that has to be exposed, even in the spiritual community, because this is a spiritual awakening, and so many different spiritual leaders have to be exposed. And so a lot of things have to be exposed. And it's your attachment to those things is how it will affect you. So just keep on detaching, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.